think I'm back. I think I'm back. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it. I just heard it. So I don't know. I don't know what happened outside my window. Hi, I'm back. Okay, cool. Like it was really loud. And like, I don't know if it actually like shook my building, but it felt like it shook. Maybe I was just scared. I don't know. And so that's why I was like, it's at like, I don't know, explosion, gunshot, something. But yeah, my monitors just like flashed. So they like turned off and then turned on again. I was like, oh, well, there goes the stream. So thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around, DDoS over. We're back, baby. We're back to learn about dragons. They couldn't keep us down. Let me see why this is not working. Hello? Hello? There we go. Oh my gosh. Ghostess, Jordy, Doyle, hi. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was weird. Linkit, hi. Everybody, hi. Yeah, we're fine. We're okay. I'm okay. It was just very loud and very scary. It made me jump. It had to be like, yeah, an exploding like power line or something. It had to be. I don't know. Or maybe like I don't really there's a traffic light right by where I live, so I also wonder. I'll investigate later, but that was scary. We're fine. I'm fine. We're good. It's all good. The power of the dragons. It was too much. It was too much, I say. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. We're back. DDoS over. Shall we read more about dragons then? I guess it's time to read more about dragons, eh? Deathwing making his way into the real world? Yeah, I guess. I don't even know. Oh man, that was a lot. That was wild. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around. I appreciate it. I don't even know where we left off. That threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. Many things have thrown me off today. Not that I was ever like not thrown off, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, you know what's funny? I keep forgetting. I really need to like remove this. As y'all are lovely, and you you already raised $1,000. You all collectively donated $1,000. So I don't, the little charity thing that was up there don't need to be up there anymore. Because y'all did it. Let me, just a couple things that I adjusted earlier on stream that I'm going to adjust again. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. I cannot tell if this is centered. I'm sorry to people that can tell. I wish there was like a grid view. There probably is a grid view. I'll deal with it later. Okay. All right. We got this. We got this. We're in it. We're on it. We're doing it. Woo! Welcome back. Thanks, Bun. Yeah, that was weird. That was really weird. I don't know. I mean, because I live in a big city, so like power surges are definitely a thing. But I've never like heard like I don't know. Just a very loud, scary noise. But I'm fine. Everything's fine. My microwave clock is just on zeros now, but it's fine, you know. Thank you all again for sticking around and refreshing your streams and stuff. I really appreciate it. Okay, we were reading about dragons. So what we were reading about is dragons. Right? Right. Of course, right. Where even am I? Okay. So, Albanian mythology, Lernaean Hydra in Greek mythology, Jormungandr, Nirgurur, and Fafnir in Norse mythology, and the dragon from Beowulf. So essentially, TLDR, dragons in all sorts of different mythologies, right? Cross-cultural, dragons are a thing. Also, let's look at this thing. Carved imperial Chinese dragons at 9 Dragon Wall, Baihai Park, Beijing. It's very pretty. It's very cool. Especially because Lunar New Year just happened or is happening now. And so I know that, like, dragons are kind of big symbol for that, right? And then look at these cool dragons. Dragon-shaped bows on ships in Ystad? Ystad? Sweden, resembling Viking longships. Love it. Okay, so the popular Western image of a dragon is likely based on a conflation of earlier dragons from different traditions and of inaccurate scribal drawings of snakes. In Western cultures, dragons are portrayed as monsters to be tamed or overcome, usually by saints or culture heroes, as in the popular legend of St. George and the Dragon. They are often said to have ravenous appetites and to live in caves where they hoard treasure. These dragons appear frequently in Western fantasy literature, including The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Boo, she's the worst, even though Harry Potter helped form a lot of our cultural identities. But fuck turfs. Anyway, A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin, etc., etc., etc. The word dragon, excuse me, Wikipedia. The word dragon has also come to be applied to the legendary creature in Chinese mythology, Long, traditional, yes, good, which is associated with good fortune and is thought to have power over rain. I didn't know that. Dragons and their associations with rain are the source of the Chinese customs of dragon dancing and dragon boat racing. I didn't know it was because of their association with rain. I had no idea. That's really interesting. Many East Asian deities and demigods have dragons as their personal mounts or companions. Dragons were also identified with the Emperor of China, who, during later Chinese imperial history, was the only one permitted to have dragons on his house, clothing, or personal articles. That's also very interesting. The impression of dragons in a large number of Asian countries has been influenced by Chinese culture, such as Korea, Vietnam, Japan, and so on. Chinese tradition has always used the dragon totem as a national emblem, and the yellow dragon flag, as the Qing dynasty, has influenced the impression that China is a dragon in many European countries. The white dragon of the flag of modern Bhutan is very classic Chinese-style dragon. Commonalities between dragons' traits are often a hybridization of feline, avian, and reptilian features, and may include snake-like features, reptilian scaly skins, 4 legs with 3 or 4 toes on each, spinal nodes, I almost read that as spinal noodles. Anyway, spinal nodes running down the back, a tail, and serrated jaw with rows of teeth. Several modern scholars believe huge extinct or migrating crocodiles bear the closest resemblance, especially when encountered in forested or swampy areas, and are the most likely the template of modern Oriental dragon imagery. Even in the new Shang-Chi movie from Marvel, dragons play a big role. Man, I don't think I've seen that one. I haven't yet. But yeah, it's interesting, like, what a big part of our, like, cultural zeitgeist I think that dragons are, right? And I think that speaks to the kind of, like, cross-cultural universal nature of dragons, too. Yeah. I'm interested. I'm curious. Let's continue. We've got etymology, which I'm super in. I mean, I'm kind of into all of this, to be honest. It's going to be a lot. We're going to try to do the TLDR, even though I'm very into all of it. So, etymology. The word dragon entered the English language in the early 13th century from Old French, dragon, which in turn comes from Latin, draconem, nominative Draco, meaning huge serpent, dragon. From ancient Greek, drakon, serpent, giant sea fish. Giant sea fish. That's interesting. The Greek and Latin term referred to any great serpent, not necessarily mythological. The Greek word is most likely derived from the Greek verb, derkomai, meaning I see. The aorist form, what does that mean? Aorist verb forms usually express perfective aspect and refer to past events, similar to a preterite. Oh, okay. Ancient Greek grammar had the aorist form, and grammars of both Indo-European languages and languages influenced by Indo-European grammatical tradition. Cool. The aorist form of which is edrahon. This is thought to have referred to something with a deadly glance, okay, or unusually bright or sharp eyes, because of snake's eyes appear to be always open. Each eye actually sees through a big transparent scale in its eyelids, which are permanently shut. That's really interesting, too. Reptiles are wild. The Greek word probably derives from an Indo-European base, Dirk meaning to see, and the Sanskrit root, Ndurs meaning to see. Cool. Love it. Good. All right, and here it is. An early appearance of the Old English word drakon in Beowulf. Beowulf's a trip, man. All right, myth origins. Draconic creatures appear in virtually all cultures around the globe. Nonetheless, scholars dispute where the idea of dragon originates from, and a wide variety of hypotheses have been proposed. In his book, An Instinct for Dragons, anthropologist David E. Jones suggests a hypothesis that humans, like monkeys, have inherited instinctive reactions to snakes, large cats, and birds of prey. Probably, that makes sense. He cites a study which found that approximately 39 people in 100 are afraid of snakes. Notes that fear of snakes is especially prominent in children, even in areas where snakes are rare. That's interesting. The earliest attested dragons all resemble snakes or have snake-like attributes. Jones therefore concludes that dragons appear in nearly all cultures because humans have an innate fear of snakes and other animals that were major predators of humans' primate ancestors. Dragons are usually said to reside in dank caves, deep pools, wild mountain reaches, sea bottoms, haunted forests, all places which would have been fraught with danger for early human ancestors. In her book, The First Fossil Hunters, Dinosaurs, Mammoths, and Myth in Greek and Roman Times, Adrian Mayer argues that some stories of dragons may have been inspired by ancient discoveries of fossils belonging to dinosaurs. I've always wondered about that, yeah, and other prehistoric animals. She argues that the dragon lore of northern India may have been inspired by observations of oversized, extraordinary bones in the fossil beds of Siwalik Hills below the Himalayas, and that ancient Greek artistic depictions of the monster of Troy may have been influenced by fossils of Samotherium, an extinct genus of Giraffidae from the Miocene and Pliocene of Eurasia and Africa. Samotherium had two long ossicones on its head, horns, and long legs. The ossicones usually pointed upward and were curved backwards, males having larger, blah, blah, blah. Very cool. Very interesting. Curious about it. Cool. Dope. An extinct species of giraffe whose fossils are common in the Mediterranean region. In China, a region where fossils of large prehistoric animals are common, these remains are frequently identified as dragon bones. Ben Lurkin, glad you're okay and welcome back. 2 Aver streams today. That was making me laugh. There was Clark who was in your chat. It's like, we just get so many. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's weird and scary. It's fine. It's just like, loud noises are scary, man. Yeah, thanks. Good to be here. Thanks for lurking. I doubt the dinosaur theory. I don't think ancient people really had access to those skeletons, but who knows? It's an interesting idea. Yeah, I don't know, Gaustus. That's a good point. If they just happened upon them. Really, what is the difference between like a dragon and a dinosaur when you really get down to it? Not a whole lot. But I'm gonna share in the Discord that like dragon, like not documentary, but like kind of like I don't know, whatever series. Patrick Stewart one time. But they do a really good job of kind of going into the kind of myths of dragons, and it's just interesting. It's interesting to think about. But yeah, that is a good point. Kept it chill while I dealt with my tech issues, right? Yeah, love it. Okay, so dragon bones. I can see where giraffe skulls we would think of as dragon bones because of like the horns. Like I can see it for sure. They're commonly used in traditional Chinese medicine. Mayer, however, is careful to point out that not all stories of dragons and giants are inspired by fossils, and notes that Scandinavia has many stories of dragons and sea monsters, but has long been considered barren of large fossils. So that kind of supports what you were saying about fossils, right, Gaustus? At least in that region, for sure. In one of her later books, she states that many dragon images around the world were based on folk knowledge or exaggerations of living reptiles, such as Komodo dragons, Gila monsters, iguanas, alligators, or in California, alligator lizards. What are alligator lizards? What? They look like a little baby alligator. Huh. Okay. Didn't even know that was a thing. Though this still fails to account for the Scandinavian legends, as no such animals, historical or otherwise, have ever been found in this region. Robert Blust, The Origins of Dragons, 2000, argues that, like many other, many other creations of traditional cultures, dragons are largely explicable as products of a convergence of rational pre-scientific speculation about the world of real events. In this case, the event is the natural mechanism governing rainfall and drought, with particular attention paid to the phenomenon of the rainbow. Interesting. All right, we've got a lot of different regions to talk about, which I would love to get into, but I also want to make sure we get to some of the other topics before closing out today. Look at how cool, though. Dragons are so cool. Look at these beautiful pictures. I'm like, let's just look at pictures. Let's just look at pictures for a minute. This silk painting depicting a man riding a dragon. Oh, you know what? I just realized Raven, thank you for the host. I appreciate it. I just realized I need to start my closed captions again. Give me a second to start those up because it disconnected everything. Yay! I love that I figured out how to get closed captions working on my stream. It makes me very happy because it's something I've been wanting to have on there for a while and just wasn't sure. My opinion is that they're just based on lizards and snake, which are all over the world. Totally. I think that's a big part of it. Yeah. And I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Yeah. Although the lizard and snake thing is interesting. Well, yeah, no, I mean, makes sense. Makes sense. It checks out, Gauss says. Let's see. Tang Dynasty painting of a dragon boat race, attributed to Li Zhaodao. Flag of the Qing Dynasty from 1889 to 1912, showing a Chinese dragon. Dragon sculpture on top of Lungshan Temple, Taipei, Taiwan. Chinese dragon in Fengdu Go City, China. There's the Chinese Youth Society in Melbourne performing Chinese New Year. Crown Casino. Demonstrate a basic corkscrew routine. So many. Blue dragon. Snake dragon. This dragon. That dragon. Another dragon. Here's a dragon who's honest. Wait, this one's in Canada. What? Okay, it's from Iran. I was gonna say, what? That's cool. Dragon god from India. Greek dragons. Yeah, the Hydra. Kind of draconian. More of that. More of these. Cool. I think I'm gonna be good on dragons unless someone has a specific dragon thing they want to look into, because there's a lot here. There's a lot in this dragon article. We've got modern depictions. I think modern depictions is just gonna be high fantasy, basically, right? Yeah. Should we move on? Should we move on to Michelangelo's David? Here he is. We were talking about penis sculptures earlier. Oh, the Wikipedia streams. Don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. I feel all the things. Okay. Here he is. David, Michelangelo. David is a masterpiece of Renaissance sculpture created in marble between 1501 and 1504 by the Italian artist Michelangelo. David is a 5.17 meter, so 17 foot. Oh, he's huge. I didn't know he was that big. Marble statue in the biblical figure of David, a favorite subject in the art of Florence. First of all, can we just appreciate the work that goes into making this, and then knowing it's 17 feet tall? Did you know that it was that tall? I had no idea. That is a huge fucking sculpture. Anyway, anytime seeing giant sculptures like that, it's just, it blows my mind, the kind of work and detail. I had no idea it was that big. Looks pretty real. Didn't realize how real it looks, right? The musculature and everything, it's fucking impressive. I thought it was human height too. Fun. I thought it was I was maybe 6 feet or something, right? 17 feet. Ginormous. That's really cool. That's wild. Yeah, that's wild. David was originally commissioned as one of a series of statues of prophets to be positioned along the roof line of east end of Florence Cathedral, but was instead placed in a public square outside of the Palazzo Vecchio the seat of civic government in Florence, in the Piazza della Signoria. Sorry about my Italian. Where it was unveiled on 8 September 1504. The statue was later moved to the Galleria dell'Accademia, Florence, in 1873, and later replaced by the original location by a replica. That's interesting too. Because of the nature of the figure it represented, the statue soon came to symbolize the defense of civil liberties embodied in the Republic of Florence, an independent city-state threatened on all sides by more powerful rival states and by hegemony of the Medici family. The eyes of David, with a warning glare, were fixed towards Rome, where the Medici family lived. He's looking at Rome. He is kind of giving him the stink eye, huh? A little bit. I can see it. Okay, cool. History, commission, placement, later history, interpretation, conservation. Fun. Is there anything in particular you wanted to look into? He clearly had at least one model. He had to have, right? This interactive model. Oh, I don't know. That's kind of cool, though. Ugh, stop it. Yeah, so 17 feet by 6.5 feet. It's fucking huge. He's giant. No, it's just cool. It is cool. No, I just wanted to double check so I don't like skip something if you're like interested in it. The most mind-blowing fact to me so far is the size. I had no idea it was that big. What would be, let's just look into it. Let's just keep going. Let's just look into it. I remember the Simpson episode now with him. Oh, really? Doyle, I don't know. I didn't grow up with the Simpsons, so I feel like I didn't, I don't know. I don't catch all the Simpsons recipes. Wow. I don't catch all the Simpsons references because I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a kid. All right, commission. The history of the statue begins before Michelangelo's work on it from 1501 to 1504. Prior to Michelangelo's involvement, the overseers of office works of Florence Cathedral, consisting mostly of members of the influential woolen cloth guild, the Art della Lana, had plans to commission a series of 12 large Old Testament sculptures for the buttresses of the cathedral. In 1410, Donatello made the first of the statues, a figure of Joshua in terracotta. A figure of Hercules, also in terracotta, was commissioned from the Florentine sculptor Agostino di Duccio in 1463 and was made perhaps under Donatello's direction. Eager to continue their project in 1464, Operae contracted Agostino to create a sculpture of David. A block of marble was provided from a quarry in Carrara, city and commune in Tuscany. Cool. No, they explained if I would have kept reading. A town in the Apuan Alps in northern Tuscany. Agostino only got as far as beginning to shape the legs, feet, torso, roughing out some drapery, and probably gouging the hole between the legs. Weird fact, but all right, I'll take it. His association with the project ceased, for reasons unknown, with the death of Donatello in 1466. 10 years later, Rosolino was commissioned to take up where Agostino had left off. Rosolino's contract was terminated soon thereafter, and the block of marble remained neglected for 26 years, all the while exposed to the elements in the yard of the cathedral workshop. This was of great concern to the opera authorities, as such a large piece of marble was not only costly, but represented a large amount of labor and difficulty in its transportation to Florence. I didn't know it went through this many artists, this many people had their fingerprint on it. You know what I mean? I had no clue. I did not know. Your parents also hated The Simpsons? Yeah. My parents' excuse was when we asked why are we not allowed to watch it? It's because Bart was disobedient to his parents and disrespectful to his parents, which is 100% true, right? But it's an interesting argument for why you're not allowed to watch something. You don't get to watch Bart be disrespectful because then you'll be disrespectful, I think was the idea, which, makes sense on some level. God bless parents of children, because I can't imagine. I can't imagine trying to make those kinds of decisions. Donatello died from lack of pizza. Just a side note. That's just a side note. Needed more pizza. Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael. Nailed it! Took me a minute. Okay, moving on. Right. In 1500, An inventory of the cathedral workshop described the piece as a certain figure of marble called David, badly blocked out and supine. A year later, documents show that the operae were determined to find an artist who could take this large piece of marble and turn it into finished work of art. They ordered the block of stone, which they called the giant, raised on its feet so that a master experienced in this kind of work might examine it and express an opinion. Though Leonardo da Vinci and others were consulted, it was Michelangelo, 26. He was so young. By the way, here come the sirens. Sorry about it. It's only going to get louder. I'm not muting. You get to experience it with me. Okay, they're gone. 26 years old. He was a baby. Well, I guess for that time period, he was probably not... He was old, I guess, but still. Okay. Michelangelo, 26 years of age, convinced the operae that he deserved the commission. On 16 August 1501, Michelangelo was given the official contract to undertake this challenging new task. He began carving the statue early in the morning on 13 September, a month after he was awarded the contract. He would work on the massive statue for more than 2 years. I really had no idea. Here, this helps us to get scale. I had no idea it was this big. I had no idea. That is wild. And I had no idea that this many artists, were part of the creation of it. I had no idea. Excuse me. Let's see. He did a pretty good job, especially after the guy put the hole through the legs. That's why I was like, what a weird, interesting detail, huh? I like that this one has the little fig leaf. Censored it. The original David, outside the Palazzo Vecchio before it was moved in 1873. David at its current location in the Galleria dell'Accademia. A replica of the David now stands outside Palazzo Vecchio. So that's not the real one, but it's a replica. So there you go. I need to drink some water. I feel like I've had such a dry throat lately. I don't know what's happening. So I'm not sick. I don't think it's allergies. Maybe it's allergies. I don't know. Okay. History's pretty cool. What else do we want to learn about? Placement, later history. Yeah, the commission I thought was most interesting. Interpretation. I'm a little bit curious about interpretation. Shall we? The pose of Michelangelo's David is unlike that of earlier Renaissance depictions of David. The bronze statues by Donatello and Verrocchio represent the hero standing victorious over the head of Goliath, and the painter Andrea del Castagno has shown the boy in mid-swing. What? Sorry. Mid-swing, even as Goliath's head rested between his feet. But no earlier Florentine artist had omitted the giant altogether. According to most scholars, David is depicted before his battle with Goliath. Instead of being shown victorious over a foe much larger than he, David looks tense and ready for battle after he's made the decision to fight Goliath. But before the battle actually taken place, his brow is drawn, his neck tense, the veins bulge out of his lower right hand. His left hand holds a sling that is draped over his shoulder. I did not even notice that. Hold, please. Oh, look at that butt, though. Okay, sorry. A sling? I didn't know it was a sling. I thought he was just holding his hand like that. Okay, cool. But, okay, sorry. Anyway, what's happening? Dresden, hello. Oh my God, so many rabbit holes. It's the letter D. We're almost done, so I'm gonna not take any more D words for this week, unfortunately. But I'm glad you're here. So many different things. Currently, we're reading about Michelangelo's David. So welcome. That's where we are. Many rabbit holes. Everything starting with the letter D. After David, we're going to read about depth psychology. We're going to read about the origin of the name Doyle, and then we're going to call it. So we're getting down to it. But it's good to see you. How are you? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Mid-auto in modern terms. Okay, the fact that David is from David and Goliath makes the fact that it's a giant statue even more entertaining. Right? No, I thought the exact same thing. Fun. Didn't know, just thought it was a random name. I knew it was David from the Bible, but I honestly forgot that it was the David, like the David and Goliath David. I don't know if that's silly, but like, yeah, I had never really made that connection before. Sling makes sense, kind of his defining characteristic. Totally, right? Well, and to Funsplain, it's funny to like make like, because that was the whole thing with the David and Goliath story, right? Is that David is like so small and fighting a Goliath, a giant. So yeah, to make him like 17 feet tall is really interesting. Well, and also that they had him specifically pointing towards Rome, like politically what that says about the relationship with Rome is really fascinating to me. Okay, so mid-swing. Got it. Where am I? Sling, right. I was like, I read about the sling and I was like, I never noticed that he had a sling before. So his left hand holds a sling that is draped over his shoulder and down to his right hand, which holds the handle of the sling. The nudity reflects the story of David as stated in the Bible, 1 Samuel 17:38-39. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And so David put them off him. What? Okay, hold on a minute. So Saul was like, here's your armor. Oh, that's right. Okay, all right. Okay. I was raised in a Christian school. So I had to read the Bible a lot when I was a kid. And so it's funny the way that like these things get interpreted by adults and then the way that they're taught to children, right? Because I remember watching the VeggieTales episode about David and Goliath, and the whole thing is like, I love that my reference for this is VeggieTales, but the whole thing is like, oh, like I'm too small, this armor is too heavy, I'm not gonna wear armor. But I was never like told that like he was just buck ass naked. I thought he was still wearing clothes, just not armor. I guess that's all up to interpretation, right? That is really interesting though, isn't it? Because when you read that, do you read this as, okay, so he just fought Goliath naked? I assumed he was wearing like a toga or a loincloth or whatever biblical folk wore, right? He was doing the hardcore naked challenge. He was a naked warrior. Mid-swing with his sling. So the weapon that he was using. Yeah. I didn't know. Gaustus, I had no idea. Okay. I didn't know anything of all of this except the whole David versus the giant thing. Yeah, well, it's so funny because it's like it's triggering these like little kid memories of like, oh yeah, you've read this in the Bible before. Like it's been years. Speaking of the like memorization shit fun, like being raised in a Christian school, there's lots of stuff like that I'm like, I don't know why that's still in my brain, but it is. And it's just like drilled into you enough. Massive power play though. Yeah, just walk up to a fight with your junk tangle. That's what I'm saying, dude. Just be like, fuck it. I'm gonna go fight a giant. I'm gonna be naked. Deal with it. Maybe that's part of the strategy. Throw the giant off by being naked. Distract him. Distraction technique. That was the premise of the Simpsons episode. The town wanted Marge to protest David because she had been crusading against indecency. Indecency? Tell me if I'm wrong. I think you were going for indecency, but let me know. She disagreed that David was a piece of art. Interesting. Yeah, there's a whole discussion to be had about nudity in art and our relationships to things that are sexualized or not sexualized, and I think it's interesting that we're, our relationship to like naked male bodies and naked female bodies and what yeah, it's just there's a lot to unpack there for sure, Doyle. You gotta be free. You gotta, as T. Miller says, you gotta feel the breeze in your underleaves. I don't know if you're still here, T, but that's a T. Miller quote right there. Anyway, you gotta feel the breeze in your underleaves. It's one of my favorites. And you know what? When T. Miller says it, she does this little hand gesture. That makes it like so much better. Feel the leaves. Feel the breeze in my underleaves. Anyway. Anyway, we need to remove judgment before we can all walk around nude. Oh, I mean, I was talking to a friend about this. Like, I think there's something so beautiful. This is not really an American thing, a United States thing, I should say. But I know that this is a thing in other cultures, and specifically in Eastern Europe. Bathhouses are kind of a big thing, I think in Asian countries as well, right? But if you've ever been to a bathhouse, where everyone is naked, it's this beautiful, great equalizer. Because all of a sudden you're all naked, and then bodies just become normal. And like, it's not, you're right, like the removement of judgment, it's just like, I don't know. This is speaking as a person who really likes to be naked. I feel very confined by clothing, to be honest. And I think that's like part of just being like a fat person is like no clothes, like at least growing up, like fit me well. And so like clothes have always kind of felt like this like, yeah, confining, constraining thing that just like didn't feel good. So there's something really beautiful about like just being able to like be naked with other people and having it not be a sexual thing and just having it be a like we're in our bodies and it's fine thing. I don't know if anything I just said makes sense, but like I'm very into it. I can see myself like retiring to like a nudist like community like later on in life. I can see it. Man, we cover so many weird topics, don't we? Bless T. Miller, yeah. Gotta head out. Raymond, I'm gonna cry. Thanks. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you and Fun and other femme folks being in here and other just allies and stuff being in here to like back me up and support me and also like validate my anger and frustration. So thank you. It's just always hard when like stuff like that comes up. So thank you for being here. It means a lot. By the way, if you all missed it, Sliced Raven did a wonderful stream yesterday, and I'm hoping they do more streams soon. So if you're not following them, you should totally go follow them, because they're amazing. Let's see. You can't judge someone in that context. Yeah, you just can't, because you're all naked. Like there's no, like I said, it's like this great equalizer. It's really beautiful. It's kind of lovely. Jordy, yeah, being fat, clothes aren't made for us. Sensory issues, that's another thing, Jordy, totally. Stuff feels weird, right? Yeah. Interestingly, I don't like being naked, but minimal clothes is preferable. Yeah, so like whatever you feel comfortable with. Like, I mean, it's not to say that I feel uncomfortable in clothing, but as I've gotten older, the more like the witchier, gayer, and more comfortable in my skin I just continue to get. So like I don't know. Yeah, in so many ways I do feel more comfortable in my naked body than I do in clothes. Like in some ways, like I don't know. It's interesting though. Yeah, I appreciate that you can like you get what I mean, Jordy. Yeah, the sensory issues thing too is like huge. It's huge. Yeah. Not a big nakedness person, totally. I like the idea of more loose, flowing, non-confining garments. That makes sense to me. Fun, yeah, totally. I mean, I think we all have different relationships with these kinds of things, right? But yeah, like loose clothing, non-confining clothing, yeah. Yeah, if something is like too tight, that's not meant to be tight. Like if I'm trying to be like, you know, I don't know. It depends. Like there's certain things that like for the sake of fashion, I enjoy. I don't mind the discomfort because I enjoy fashion so much as an art form. I think fashion is like art that you wear, like that you live your life in. Like there's something really cool about that to me. So I love fashion, and at the same time, I think I resent fashion because of how like sizist it is. Yeah, like the sensory thing is huge. In terms of like the way things are supposed to fit and the way things feel and like all of that. Yeah. Good to see you, Raven. Have a wonderful day. I hate long sleeves. It's cold as fuck here. But I'm sitting around in a tank top and loose boxers. I kind of hate socks. I'll wear them with like boots and shoes and stuff, but I'm barefoot 90% of the time if I can be. I kind of hate socks. It's like if I even if it's like winter, super cold, like sometimes if it's like super cold, I'll like fall asleep with socks on, but like that is an exception. Like it's not the norm for me. Socks suck, right? Okay, Jordy, I saw this amazing meme. I hope I can find it again. But it was like, so are you I must wear socks all the time neurodivergent, or I will never wear socks neurodivergent, which I thought was fascinating. Because it seems as though it's kind of one or the other. But yeah, I'm not a sock fan. Not a sock fan. Me and socks. Yeah. Fun. As soon as I remember wearing them, my feet just need to be free. Fun. Same. Important question to other sock haters. Do you feel confined if your feet are out of the covers? That's interesting. It depends for me. For me, it's more of a like heat issue than anything else. If I'm feeling like overheated, the first thing I'll do is make sure that my feet are out of my covers. I think there's like a security thing with blankets for me where I feel the need, like, even if it's like hot outside, like if it's like summertime, I still like, I can't sleep if I don't have a blanket of some sort on me. But the feet thing, yeah, for me, it's kind of neither here nor there, I guess. I think I would prefer to have my feet covered, but if I'm feeling like overheated, then I'll stick my feet out of my blankets, I guess. Okay, so Jordy, you're the opposite. You hate having your feet out of the covers. Interesting. Huh. Very interesting indeed. Okay, a properly tucked in bed is torture. Agreed. I love a freshly made bed, but like if the like sheets like you know, like hotel style where it's like the sheets are super tight, I have to like rummage around and make sure that I don't feel like confined kind of a thing. Gauss says you can go either way depending on temperatures. That's kind of how I feel about it too. But I do need a blanket. I would love to try out a weighted blanket for sleeping, actually. But I need something on me to sleep. Like, otherwise I can't do it. Hotel beds are the worst, yeah. Hotel style where it's tight is bad. Loose covering. Yep. Loose covering and blanket options for different sensory moods and also temperature kind of regulation. Yeah. I'd like to point out, I am an amateur, not an expert, but I'm willing to field any and all questions about quantum mechanics, and related topics before the stream ends, if there are any. We did have some earlier, Gaustus. I don't know that I want to get back into that right now. But we were talking about, oh my God, DiVincenzo's, that might be wrong, DiVincenzo's criteria for quantum computation, for quantum computers. So, I mean, if you are able to give kind of, I think what I was struggling with was like, so what do quantum computers would then like observe and track and analyze data on quantum things like qubits and particles, right? But yeah, if you are familiar with I think it was DiVincenzo. I might be wrong. I have to look at it again. Their criteria. It's like 7 criteria must be met in order for quantum computers to function. You would need to see it in text. Yeah, but that's what we were talking about earlier today. But Gaustus, come back on Q week for sure, because we're gonna need you. Because quantum mechanics and qubits are 2 of our Q things. So we will be needing you on Q week for sure. For sure we'll be needing you. And it's only because I've been here for like 5 hours at this point. And so I just wanna start to wrap things up a little bit. But I want to learn more. Well, and it's funny because I say Q week, but like, honestly, Gaustus, something about quantum land and quantum theory comes up like almost every week. Next week is E week. So who knows? Maybe there's something starting with E that we can get into with quantum stuff. Cause I really would, Gaustus, I would really love for you to like explain quantum theory to me like I'm 5. I would love that. And that would be great. That would be great. And actually, Gaustus, are you part of the Discord? Because there's a science channel in the Discord that if you want to go off about quantum stuff, do it. That would be a beautiful place to do it. I would love that. No pressure by any means. But yeah, if you are part of the Discord or you want to be part of the Discord, go off. Go off in the science category. I would love to have you. But again, no pressure to join it if you don't want to. It would be a lovely place to put these ideas and things if you would like a place to do that. Okay, where are we at, guys? I said the word girded. It made me laugh. On to something else. The twist of his body effectively conveys to the viewer the feeling that he is about to move, an impression heightened with the contrapasto. Is that just like against something? Hello, penis again. Counterpoise. It is the visual arts described with human figure standing with most of its weight on one foot so that its shoulders and arms twist off axis from the hips and legs in the axial plane. Nice, 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 nice. I love it. Good luck with the quantum explanation. I know, the explain it like I'm 5 thing is, I'm sure, is incredibly difficult to do with something so complex. And it's not even that it's complex so much as like, it's so abstract for, I think, the human mind to conceive of. Specific human mind. Some humans like you, Gauss, don't get it. I don't know, though. Ooh, Quantum Leap. I do need to watch Quantum Leap. I've been told it's a good one. I see what you did there. Okay, Contrapaso. The statue is a Renaissance interpretation of a common ancient Greek theme of standing in heroic male nude. In High Renaissance, the contrapasto poses were thought of as a distinctive feature of antique sculpture, initially materialized as Doriphoros Polykletos. This is typified in David, as the figure stands with one leg holding its full weight and the other leg forward. This classic pose causes both hips and shoulders to rest at opposing angles, giving a slight S-curve to the entire torso. Contrapaso is emphasized by the turn of the head to the left and contrasting positions of the arms. I feel like that's like how they like tell you to like pose for pictures often, is like trying to like, I don't know, gives you a little bit more motion rather than being like straightforward. Michelangelo's David has become one of the most recognized works of the Renaissance sculpture, a symbol of strength and youthful beauty. The colossal size of the statue alone impressed Michelangelo's contemporaries. Vasari described it as certainly a miracle that... Here we go. Certainly a miracle, that of Michelangelo, to restore to life one who was dead. What did I just read? Vasari described it as certainly a miracle, that of Michelangelo, to restore to life one who was dead. Got it. And then listed all of the largest and most grand of the ancient statues he had ever seen, concluding that Michelangelo's work surpassed all ancient and modern statues, whether Greek or Latin, that have ever existed. I mean, it's pretty fucking impressive, right? It is. It's impressive, to say the least. That's like an understatement. But yeah. The proportions of David are atypical of Michelangelo's work. The figure has an unusually large head and hands, particularly apparent in the right hand. Interesting. The small size of the genitals, though, is in line with his other works. This is, okay, I find this to be fascinating in terms of, like, our relationship to, like, penis size now versus in the past. It's fascinating. Okay, so the small size of the genitals, however, or though, is in line with his other works and with Renaissance conventions in general, perhaps referencing the ancient Greek ideal of prepubescent male nudity. These enlargements may be due to the fact that the statue originally intended to be placed on the cathedral roofline, where the most important parts of the sculpture may have been accentuated in order to be visible from below. The statue is unusually slender, front to back, in comparison to its height, which may be a result of work done on the block before Michelangelo began carving it. I thought they were going to go more in depth, but I think it's fascinating that, like, if you go back to, like, ancient Greek sculptures, like small penises, the idea behind that was like, oh, that's attractive because that means that that's a man that can control himself, right? Like, that's the idea. So, like, if you go back to ancient art, they're all small penises. And now you know. You'll stay for this. It is interesting, right? So that was like the male ideal was to have a small penis, because what that meant was that, like, you had control over your body and your urges. Fascinating, right? I mean, Fenaria. Hate to say I'm leaving, but it's been a fun stream. Gaustus, thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate you. And I would be rather honest, but I will definitely be back for Q. Do it. It was really good to see you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for hanging out. It's a pleasure. Attractive as a man who can control himself. Yep. Gladiator statues had overly enlarged peens to show strength and power. Fascinating. So it just depends on, like, which culture and what time period, right? Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. Where are we at? I think we got through that paragraph. Okay. It is possible that the David was conceived as a political statue before Michelangelo began working on it. Certainly, David the Giant Killer had long been seen as a political figure in Florence, and images of the biblical hero already carried political implications there. Donatello's bronze David, made for the Medici family, perhaps, see 1440, had been appropriated by the Signoria in 1494, when the Medici were exiled from Florence, and the statue was installed in the courtyard of the Palazzo della Signoria, where it stood for the Republican government of the city. By placing Michelangelo's statue in the same general location, the Florentine authorities ensured David would be seen as a political parallel as well as an artistic response to that earlier work. These political overtones led to the statue being attacked twice in its early days. Protesters pelted it with stones the year it debuted, and in 1527, an anti-Medici riot resulted from its left arm being broken into 3 pieces. What? I had no idea. Excuse me. Wow. That's very interesting. Commentators have noted the presence of foreskin on David's penis, which is at odds with the Judaic practice of circumcision. Interesting, but consistent with the conventions of Renaissance art. Interesting indeed. Here he is. Here's our guy. Huh. All right. Have we read about David's penis enough? I think so. All right. 2 more topics, and then we're calling it. We're going to read about depth psychology now, which I'm very excited and curious about. Yeah, fun. I think we've read about his penis enough. Very enlightening, though. Okay, depth psychology. Depth psychology, from the German term, I'm not even going to try, refers to the practice and research of the science of the unconscious, covering both psychoanalysis and psychology. It is also defined as psychological theory that explores the relationship between the conscious and unconscious, as well as the patterns and dynamics of motivation in the mind. The theories of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, and Alfred Adler are all considered at its foundations. Okay. Development. The term depth psychology was coined by Eugene Bleuler and refers to psychoanalytic approaches to therapy and research that take the unconscious into account. The term was rapidly accepted in the year of its proposal, 1914, by Sigmund Freud, to cover a topographical view of the mind in terms of different psychic systems. He is considered to have revolutionized this field, which he viewed in later years as his most significant work. Since the 1970s, depth psychology has come to refer to the ongoing development of theories and therapies pioneered by Pierre Janet, William James, and Carl Gustav Jung, as well as Freud. All explore relationships between the conscious and unconscious, thus including both psychoanalysis and Jungian psychology. I'm curious where depth psychology and implicit bias meet. You know what I mean? Because implicit bias is so much about your unconscious, but it's about what messages have you picked up that then inform your subconscious, that then inform what you consciously believe and the way that you act. You know what I mean? It is D week. I was thinking about that, Dresden. That's good. Dresden, the first topic we looked up was D's nuts. I'm not even kidding. We did. We researched D's nuts. It's plenty of penis. That's plenty of penis going around. That fulfilled our penis quota for the day for sure. It is D week. Anyway, since this right. Summary of primary elements. Depth psychology states that the psyche process is partly conscious, partly unconscious, and partly semi-conscious. What? Partly conscious, partly unconscious, partly semi-conscious. Does that sentence seem like it's just incredibly unnecessary to anyone else? I feel like that sentence isn't telling me anything. So the psyche process is a process, you know what I'm saying? Okay, conscious, partly unconscious, partly semi-conscious. Sure. In practice, depth psychology seeks to explore underlying motives as an approach to various mental disorders. Depth psychologists believe that uncovering of the deeper, often unconscious motives are intrinsically healing in and of itself. It seeks knowledge of the deep layers underlying behavioral and cognitive processes. See, I feel like depth psychology and implicit bias are so closely connected. Because it's like essentially like what subliminal messaging have you picked up that has then like caused you to be racist, sexist, etc. Right? So it's like I can see them being very like closely connected. Maybe if they then went on to describe which things were covered in each level of consciousness, but on its own, pretty superfluous. Thanks, fun. I was like, what? It's conscious, partly conscious, semi-conscious. Like, what? What does that even mean? In modern times, the initial work, development, theories, and therapies of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Alfred Adler, Otto Rank, have grown into three main perspectives on depth psychology. Psychoanalytic, so Melanie Klein, Donald Winnicott, among others. Object relations theory, Neo-Freudianism. Okay. Adlerian, Adler's individual psychology. Jungian, Jung's analytical psychology. James Hillman's archetypal psychology. Okay. I'm gonna I want to see the criticism, always. Frederick Jameson considers postmodernism to reject depth models such as Freud's in favor of a set multiple surfaces consisting of intertextual discourses and practices. All right. Depth psychology. And now we know. Shall we go to our final topic for the day? Doyle. Doyle, I don't know if you're still there, but we're going to read about the etymology of your name. Okay, so this article is about the surname Doyle. Oh, we were going to do the first name Doyle. Wait. Well, I guess we can look at this one. I was going to do, what about first name Doyle? Hold on. Doyle, first name. The page Doyle first name does not exist. This is the Doyle that Doyle was talking about. Technically, with surnames, we were going with the surname should be what we look for, but Doyle, for you, here we go. Look at this makeup. Look at this pageantry. Oh, you're playing with Danzig. That makes sense. Okay, after looking at the statue of David, and you were saying he's a vegan bodybuilder, right? Homeboy is ripped. Let's just be honest about it. Should have added me to D-Week. You weren't here, Dresden. I'm sorry you came in late, my friend. If you had been here, I would have done it. But unfortunately, we have been through me sobbing about, like, I had to time out one of my mods for being unintentionally misogynistic and then antagonizing me for it. I had a power surge in my neighborhood that made me start the stream over. So if you want to be here in time to give suggestions, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Sundays. But yeah, unfortunately, at this point in time, I've been online for more than 5 hours, and I'm not gonna add another D thing to the list, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say, Dresden. Sorry to say. I wish I had infinite energy and infinite patience. I have neither. I have neither. Yeah, it's been a rough one. It's been a rough one, and also there's been a lot of beautiful, wonderful people. So it's, I don't know. Humanity in a microcosm. The internet in a microcosm. Okay, so I should have looked up Danzig. Danzig founded the Misfits in the 70s. I did not realize. Doyle, there's so many things I don't know. Metallica covered Misfits songs and made them popular. I did not know these things. Okay, so Doyle, Wolfgang von Frankenstein, born Paul Doyle Caiafa, September 15, 1964, is an American guitarist best known for his material with the horror punk band The Misfits and his own band eponymously named Doyle. Doyle, I had no idea. All right, Doyle, anything in particular you would like to look into? Anything specific that you would like to dive into here? Let me know. As far as what I find interesting myself, maybe like the TLDR of the career, maybe the playing style and equipment probably is what I would go for. I mean, we could just go straight up to Doyle, his stuff. Early stuff. Danzig wrote all the early Misfit songs. He's an amazing songwriter. Danzig wrote songs for Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison. Oh, I know Danzig. I mean, I don't know Danzig. I had a friend in college when I was studying music that was like super into Danzig. So I didn't, but I don't. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know the like Danzig and Misfits connection, which is really funny. So I clearly I don't know, right? Early stuff. Then let's go to the Misfits era, the Glenn Danzig era. Yeah. 1980 to 1983. Doyle, the younger brother of the Misfits bassist Jerry Only, was originally a roadie for the band and was taught how to play guitar by lead vocalist Glenn Danzig and Jerry. He joined the Misfits in October 1980 at the age of 16. He was young. He was a youngin'. Doyle was the band's third guitarist, replacing Bobby Steele after Steele failed to show up for a recording session. Dude, music is cutthroat like that. Like, you don't show up, you're replaceable. We can find another guitarist. Like, that is so true to life, honestly. Like, it's so true. Yeah. Anyway, Jerry and Doyle financed the band by working hard at their father's machine shop. Like Glenn and Jerry, Doyle incorporated the devil lock into his image. Let's see, 1987 to 1989, Chris the Conqueror. In 1987, 4 years after the dissolution of the Misfits, Doyle and Jerry formed the metal band Christ. Is it Christ or Christ? Probably Christ the Conqueror, right? With drummer The Merp. Select songs from the album were released by Jerry Only's record label. Jerry Only's record label, Cyclopean Music, as an EP, and featured guest guitarist Dave the Snake Sabo of the rock band Skid Row. 1995 to 2000, Misfits guitarist. In 1995, Jerry Only settled a legal battle out of court with co-founder Glenn Danzig. Oh, interesting. Okay, effectively allowing him rights to the band's name on a performing level. Interesting. I also, when I was studying music, I had to take a class in music law because I was a saxophone performance major and a music business major before I dropped out of music school. And so music law is really fascinating because you study like cases like this, and so there's a certain thing in your contract about like who would be considered a necessary member in order for it to then legally like be like something where you're able to use the name and perform versus not. And so it's interesting that he settled out of court about that. That's fascinating. Doyle and Jerry reformed the Misfits in 1995 with Jerry acting as the band's figurehead and with Mikhail Graves? Sure. As vocalist and Dr. Chud as drummer. The group released 2 full-length albums of new material. Danzig owned the name and music when they broke up in 83, and they fought him to use the name. Yeah. It's Michael? Okay. Good to know. 2000s, touring with Danzig and forming Gorgeous Frankenstein. In 2005, Doyle left New Jersey for Las Vegas and began auditioning members for his own band, Gorgeous Frankenstein. Good name. Great name. Doyle, you should make an undead character named Gorgeous Frankenstein. There's way too many characters. It would never work. Anyway, the same year, he appeared on stage with Danzig numerous times throughout Danzig's Black set of the Black Tour. They would meet up again in 2007 when Gorgeous Frankenstein played their first tour, opening for Danzig. This lineup included Argyle Goolsby of Blitzkid, Dr. Chud, and Gorgeous George. Doyle has since joined them on several occasions to play 30-minute long sets of classic Misfit songs. During the latter quarter of 2011, former vocalist Danzig and guitarist Doyle performed Misfit songs on 4 occasions as part of the Danzig Legacy Tour. The first of 4 shows, which took place on October 7th in Chicago as one of the headlining acts at Riot Fest, saw a sold-out crowd of 5,000 plus. The last true Legacy show took place on Halloween at the Gibson Amphitheater in Los Angeles with an oversold crowd of 7,000 plus. In 2012, Danzig and Doyle headlined several worldwide festivals and did around 70 plus shows together. Danzig would play his set before Doyle would join him on stage to perform a set of Misfit songs. That's really cool. The same friends I was talking about in college, he actually dressed up as Danzig for Halloween one year. It was really funny. It was cute. In Retail Shadowlands, they came out with an Undead character model after Doyle. Really? That's fun. That's so goofy. I love it. I mean, it's a pretty iconic look, man. Like you can't deny that. All right, 2010 solo act. The year 2013 saw the inception of Doyle's solo effort, eponymously named Doyle. The band features Alex Story of Cancer Slug on vocals, Dr. Chud on the second era Misfits on drums, and Left Hand Graham on the bass. The debut album, Abominator, was released digitally through Ingroove's Fontana distribution on July 30th, 2013, through iTunes, Google Play, and other streaming services like Deezer. It was distributed by Altavoz USA, Nippon Colombia, Japan, and Cargo Records Europe. The album was independently produced and released by Doyle's own Monster Man Records. The official CD release was in October 2013 in major retailers such as Best Buy and FYE. There's an advance copy that was sold at shows on the Danzig Legacy Tour, as well as from Doyle's official website. This pre-released advance is lacking a 13th track, released on the final cut entitled Drawing Down the Moon. In May 2014, Doyle announced he was teaming up with Alan Robert, bassist of Life of Agony, for a special Halloween 2014 issue of Robert's award-winning Killology comic series. Robert said that this was a continuation of his original I don't know why I want to say Killology comic series, but issue will surround Doyle's character. The issue will be published by IDW Publishing. Very interesting. His girlfriend is the lead singer of Arch Enemy and got him to become vegan. Okay. The link I posted shows the Undead model of Doyle. Let me take a look here. Let's take a look and see if my computer can handle it. I don't know why my computer's mad about it. Here we go. Ah, yeah, that hair. That hair is so iconic. Nice. That's really funny. Let's see, where are we at? Doyle set out on the 2015 Abominator tour in March, hitting the road as an opening act for Mushroomhead through April, with headlining dates continuing after into May. Dr. Chud left the band shortly before the band's first tour, Annihilate America, in 2014, and was replaced by Anthony Tiny Busso midway through the 2015 tour. Shortly after, Tiny stated he would no longer be playing with the band and would not continue on the remainder of the tour. A replacement was found immediately. Brandon Pertzborn, the latest tour drummer of Black Flag. Left Hand Graham was replaced for the 2015 tour, and the band featured Dietrich Thrall on bass instead. Probably Dietrich, right? On May 12th, 2016, it was announced that Glenn Danzig, Jerry Only, and Doyle would perform together as the original Misfits for the first time in 33 years. They reunited for 2 headlining shows in September 2016 at the Riot Fest in Chicago and Denver. I vaguely remember that because friends of mine were very excited about it. His guitar is made out of graphite, not wood, and is super heavy. Oh, we're about to get there. Oh, but why? Why would he do that, Doyle? Do you know why? Oh my God, we're about to learn about it, Doyle. Okay, we're gonna learn about it. But if you know why, I'm curious to know. I'm sure it'll explain. But I'd love to hear your explanation as well. All right, Doyle's guitar playing style consists heavily of downstrokes and power chords. He admits to limited facility on guitar. I mean, that's what's great about punk music, though, right? Believing that great songs are more important than instrumental skill in achieving professional success. That's 100% true. I mean, well, it's not 100% true, but there is a lot of truth to that. I would agree with that in so many situations. It just depends on what kind of musician you want to be, right? Early on in Doyle's career, he used an Ibanez Iceman guitar. However, after experimenting with guitars in Christ the Conqueror, I'm assuming it's Christ the Conqueror. Tell me if I'm wrong, though. Doyle developed his custom-made Annihilator guitar using his experience as a machinist to design and build the guitar himself. These guitars have neck-through design. Neck-through guitar is a method of electric guitar or bass guitar construction that involves extending the piece of wood used for the neck through the entire length of the body. Ah, okay. Essentially making it the core of the body. Got it. The strings, the fretboards, the pickups, the bridge are all mounted on this piece. Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay. Neck through design with a graphite body. Wild. Loaded with Seymour Duncan Invader pickup and strung with Dean Markley strings. The guitar was made without external screws on the body, as guitars with external screws scratched and cut his skin when he was playing shirtless. Interesting. Okay, but why graphite? This is what I'm so curious about. Like, sonically, what would graphite do? Is that what they... Okay, like heavy metal? But sonically, I'm curious, like, that obviously affects the way that, like, the strings vibrate and thus, like, produce sound, right? So I'm curious, like, what that does. I can't remember why. He did an interview on a guitar channel and the interviewer could barely lift it. Yeah, I mean, so the not having screws, external screws makes sense, right? But the graphite body I find to be fascinating. I'm really curious about that. I'd love to know more. When you have the distortion turned up that high, it's hard to tell the difference. Yeah, that's what I mean. Could be durability. Could be. Yeah, when the distortion and the gain are just like cranked like that, like I don't know that it necessarily affects the like sound production all that much, but I'm still very curious about it. In the 2000s, Doyle collaborated with October Guitars, now spelled October. Oktober, to recreate the Annihilator with a signature pickup. Despite this, Doyle still uses his own Annihilator. That's really cool. Because October were not able to make them exactly the way he wanted. Wow, that's really interesting. Since the mid-1990s, he has used a Demeter TGP3 rack preamp that feeds an Ampeg SVT bass head. His speaker cabinets are his own design and have Celestian speakers. His pedal board has a TC electronic chorus flanger, an MXR micro flanger, Digitech Whammy 4 pedal. I know some of these words. A Morley Bad Horsey 2 wah. These don't sound real, but they are. Wah-wah pedals are cool. An Ampeg scrambler, a Vox time machine delay. Vox is a great brand. See, I know some of these words. In his amp rack, I'm just not much of a gearhead. Plus, like, I play an acoustic guitar. I don't even know. In his amp rack, there's an ISP decimator and the Digitech valve distortion plus Line 6 G50 wireless system. Honestly, reading that is kind of like reading people's, like, computer specs. I'm like, sounds super cool. Have no idea what it means. Doyle currently plays custom pickups built by boutique builder Sheptone. He is working with Dean Guitars on a signature Annihilator guitar that will come loaded with his signature Sheptone pickup. Cool. I don't even get some of that gear. Do you play guitar, Doyle? I forget if we've talked about this. Do you play bass or something? I think that might be it. I think I'm going to call it there. I mean, we're so close. We can read about his personal life real quick. Doyle married Stephanie Bellers in 2001. The couple have one daughter, Boris, born August 17th, 2002. The couple has since divorced, which was finalized in 2013. Since 2013, Doyle has been in a domestic partnership with Elisa White-Gluz, vocalist of the Swedish melodic death metal band Arch Enemy. You know so much, Doyle. The couple practices veganism together. Look at you. You had so much of that knowledge already. Beautiful. There it is. That's D Week. We did it. We survived it. I don't know how, but we survived it. Thank you for being here. If any of you have been here since the beginning or since earlier on, I'm gonna try to find ways to make it more clear that, like, this isn't a space to, like, make fun of women or shit talk women, and this isn't a space to be racist, and this isn't a space to, like, say ignorant shit and then not take accountability for it. I'm not exactly sure how to go about that, but I'm gonna try my best, because it's starting to be exhausting for me. I imagine it's exhausting for people in my chat. But if you did make it through me yelling at someone earlier, you decided to stick around. Thank you. I hope I can find more productive ways to, like, create boundaries for the folks. But just to make it clear, in case anyone was wondering, this is not a place to, like, talk shit about hot tub streamers. This is not a place to, like, victim blame and tell women that, you know, they should just brush it off, and why do they let people get to them when people are being misogynistic towards them, and that this is not a place to like make light of like you know, anything else in terms of like marginalized and oppressed populations. And so I want to make it clear, and I want to do a good job of curating the space, and I know I'm not going to do it right all the time. So also, please hold me accountable if you can, for when I'm out of line and when I'm reacting in a way that is not necessarily productive or helpful, because I want to do better and be better. So there it is. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Dresden and Doyle and Linkett and anyone else that's been hanging out. I appreciate ya. I love ya. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world. And with that, we're gonna go find somebody to raid. So let's go see who's online. If you enjoyed this, I will be back next week, same time, same place. So next week will be E-Week, Sunday, right around 12 o'clock p.m. EST is when I start. And usually we go for about 4 or 5 hours. So that's the deal. That's how it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. So let me see if someone's online that we can raid right now. Ozcat's online. I don't know if Ozcat... Oh, no. Ozcat just went offline. Never mind. Oh. I went upstairs to calm the kids and forgot this. I left the sink running. Oh, no! Oh, no! Is it flooding fun? Almost disaster. Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, gosh, fun. I'm so sorry. That's the worst. I was going to say, Doyle's online. Doyle, do you want company? Otherwise, we might just go hang out with my little brother. My little brother is kind of my go-to when all else fails. So let's go hang out with Star Knuckle. If you don't know my little brother, he's a brilliant editor. He's one of my best friends. I think he's very funny and a very just talented, funny, cool person. He is playing, oh god, I forgot the name of it, Super Hot, which is one of those games that I've always been very curious about. So if you want to stick around, we're gonna go hang out with him. God, I'm always amazed by how many people are hanging out for these things. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you all. I love you all, and I will see you next Sunday, if not sooner. Okay, bye. Love you. Bye.